How's it going? So we're gonna be going through what does fromPromise do in the Mobx, right? So I'll link this in the description below so you can see how it works. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we need to install npm install Mobx Utils. I think it's like this, right? Yeah. So make sure this thing is installed. I'm gonna explain exactly how it works, basically. That's the whole purpose of this video, is to remove all doubts, right? So next thing we need to do import, and then fromPromise from Mobx So this is the API we're gonna use. You can use absolutely anything you want, honestly, like makes absolutely no difference. I got it from here, basically. You see, mock, like mockI.io. You can create your own API in there. It's like super easy to do. So just use that. Alright, so the first thing we need to do, we need to create a variable. So let data equals fromPromise, right? And now let's do a Axios request. Or honestly, we can actually do... Well, honestly, it makes no difference, but like, okay. I'll just use an API to create a... Oh, whoops. Yeah, I trolled a bit, okay. Now, you basically need some kind of promise. There's two ways you can do it. You can create like new... You can create... promise resolve, and then put your data in here. Or you can do Axios get and then URL. So basically you need some kind of async function in here, right? Okay, so I'm gonna be showing you. So this is gonna be synchronous, and this is gonna be asynchronous, right? So for asynchronous, we need to create a timeout. So let's do 1 second. Now the reason why you want to do timeout is because otherwise, well, you'll see. Because look, if we're gonna console log data, right? There's gonna be nothing in it. Now the extension I'm activating is called Quokka, and it's going to show us the console logs in here. So this way you get to see what's actually the output. Okay, so now let's just put something in here. Actually, I'm just gonna console log sync like this, and then here we're gonna do this way we'll get to see okay, so you see synchronous, and we get the object, right? So fromPromise, right? What it does is it basically processes your promise or whatever asynchronous function, and it returns an object with 4 things in it, you see? So this is synchronous. So this is this thing here. Right? Now this is before promise has been fulfilled. You see it says pending. Is promise based on observable? True. And then we have value. So we have case, value, and state. So you need to remember those. Case, value, and state. Alright, so now let's break down what's inside the object, okay? So the first thing is we want to see what's inside. So, okay. Let me, okay. So we covered now synchronous, right? So now asynchronous, you see the promise has been fulfilled, okay? Do you see this is this here? Right? So we know that it has been fulfilled because you can see some data in here. Unfortunately, you cannot access data this way. You cannot just click like this data. It's not going to work. Right? I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it the best way. Basically, the whole reason why we're doing this, we want to get access to status and value, right? So if we want to see the value, we can just type data dash value. Okay. So now you'll get this actual response in here. Maybe value.data, maybe this will work. I doubt it though. Oh man. Honestly, like value, I don't even know if we need this thing here. Yeah, we probably don't even need value. Let's see. Anyway, so value is going to return to you the object that's kind of like, honestly, there's no difference between data and value. Like if you put it, either this syntax or this syntax, they seem to be almost identical. Only this one has a lot less information in it. But that's not really the reason why we're using fromPromise. Because if you want just data, just use regular Axios get, await, data, data, whatever, right? That's not the reason why we're using fromPromise. Now, the most important thing when you use fromPromise is this thing here. Console log data and that is state. That's the most important reason why we're using it. Because fromPromise will give you access to 3 states, right? Is it pending, is it fulfilled, or is it rejected? Okay? Now, you can create if statements based on this. So, for example, if data.state fulfilled, do that. If data.state is rejected, do this. Right? So that's kind of the main use case for it. But Mobx already gives you the actual, it's called case. Okay? You can find it in here. Oh, this is so annoying. Sorry about this. So you see, dot case. And that case you can use pending, fulfilled, and reject. Right? So let's just do. So you see, if we do data in here, it's gonna be data.state. It's gonna be pending, right? whereas in here it's gonna be fulfilled. So now we can use data.case. Now, if you ever use the RxJS, this is gonna be like a pipe. .case is gonna be like .pipe. So you can attach things like, okay, is it fulfilled? Right, if yes, then value, and then let's say console log value. Or, what is it complaining about? I'm pretty sure this is correct. 1 second. Yeah, it's probably complaining about the way I'm writing it. Right, yeah. I think it wants me to do it this way. Oh, it's complaining because there's no and. Okay, let's put any. Oh, I misspelled fulfilled. That's why. File. Well, I can put pending, honestly. And then whatever you want a pending value, you can put in here, right? It will console log pending value. If you want file field, again we can put value, and then oops, console log value. And then finally, we can do rejected, I think is the last one, right? Rejected, yeah, is the last one. I think you can call them anything you want, as long as there is 3 of them. So this is gonna be an error. And we're gonna console log error. Or whatever is the error. Yeah, you see it's triggering this one because the state is pending. Does that make sense? So what's going to happen is it's going to look at the state. It's going to look, is it pending? If so, do this. If it's fulfilled, do this. If it's rejected, do this. Does that make sense? So this kind of, in a way, is the same as writing if statements. Like if data state equals file field, console log, whatever you want, right? Then you do else if data state equals to pending, do that. So this is exactly the same as this one here, only this is kind of like Mobx syntax. There is no real difference between them, right, when you think about it, but it's just Mobx syntax, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna take this one here, and we're gonna copy and paste it into here. So you'll see, because the promise is fulfilled, it's going to trigger this one here. And the value is going to come out as this thing here. You see this value. They're going to be exactly the same. So you see, in here, because the state is pending, it's triggering this function. In here, because the state is fulfilled, it's triggering this function. That's it. That's the only reason why you use fromPromise. Honestly, like, there's no other reason why you should use it. The use case is, you see, kind of like this. If case is pending, return some kind of HTML. If it's rejected, return error HTML or whatever, or anything you want, right? It's just it's up to you. Now, the final cool thing I want to show is that you can attach .then syntax to fromPromise. Okay, so you see we have, so this is fromPromise, which is data. And just like any other promise, we can attach data.then element, and then we're gonna, let's console log the element. Now this is exactly the same. So this is going to console log data.value. So it's console logging this basically for you. And that's it. Let me try value.url maybe. .url. Let me try. I'm trying to figure out how to get the values out of this thing, you know, because that's all nice and all, but how do you get the actual value from it? Huh. I think you have to use that thing. What is it called? Import values from Mobx. Let me try this thing. Oh, I see, yeah. Objects array, okay. Let me see 1 second. One second. Oh, okay. So you can do dot syntax in here, okay, if you want. So this will give you yeah, okay. So my mistake. If you want to get values out of this thing, then you can just use dot syntax. So data.value.data, and then This will work. Oh, interesting, it doesn't work here. Huh. Okay, so what it wants you to do, it wants you to go through the case, right? So when you have data, you go through the case. Depending on the case, right, it will return either pending object, fulfilled object, or reject object. And from here you can use dot notation to access these values. Once you go through the case, you can either use dot case or dot then to have the same, right? So I think you can do dot then, dot catch if it's an error, and then you can console log, let's say, error.data or status or anything you want, right? But I mean, honestly, the whole idea of using fromPromise is just to get access to this thing here. It's just a bunch of if statement replacement. I mean, that's Mobx, right? It's confusing, but I mean... Anyway, take care. Bye-bye.